Katie,
yeah,
you don't want any of that smoke.
Rally was,
I promise
was led by the Southern Poverty Law Center.
If you think white nationalism is made up by the Southern Poverty Law Center, no wonder you don't have a problem with what J.D. Vance said about Nixon.
The kind you're talking about in MAGA it's made up by the Southern Poverty Law Center. It absolutely
right.
Right out of the gate, both sides are making huge claims, but here's the key question. What can actually be proven versus what's simply being asserted? That's where debates like this often go off the rails. Watch closely because this quickly shifts from discussing evidence to arguing over credibility, and that's where the sparks really start flying.
Why did I think that? Because I realized that the ugly things that I saw coming out of MAGA, the prejudice, the white nationalism, the Christian nationalism, that was the few.
That was made up by the Southern Poverty Law Center?
No, it wasn't made up. Oh, please, Katie.
Yeah, the Charlottesville rally was led by the Southern Poverty Law Center.
If you think white nationalism is made up by the Southern Poverty Law Center, no wonder you don't have a problem with what J.D. Vance said about Nixon.
The kind you're talking about in MAGA it's made up by the Southern Poverty Law Center. It absolutely was.
So there are no real bigots in MAGA.
And an indictment by DOJ to show it.
So there are no real bigots in MAGA. There are no real white nationalists. They've all been put up to it by the Southern Poverty Law Center. Like January 6th was an inside job by the FBI.
That's what the indictment says.
What indictment says? What indictment says that the FBI did January 6th? I love hearing the conspiracies.
I was talking about the indictment of the Southern Poverty Law Center in Alabama, which details how the Southern Poverty Law Center specifically paid the organizer of the Charlottesville rally to take people to and from to make up this fake hate rally that they then used against the president and the right for years. SPLC has been accusing conservatives and the right of
if you don't think there's white supremacy, if you think they created white supremacy, if you think the Southern Poverty Law Center created white supremacy,
they did.
You go with that, Katie. I'll tell you what, because I've met a lot of people with dead family members in the South who don't think the Southern Poverty Law Center is responsible.
It's about SPLC
First of all,
and the left manufacturing their political arguments.
An indictment, not to mansplain, but an indictment is a charging document. It's a bunch of allegations, not facts. And they are not even.
This is actually one of the most important legal moments in the entire debate. An indictment isn't a conviction. It's a formal accusation that starts the court process. Whether you agree with either speaker or not, confusing allegations with established facts is something courts are specifically designed to sort out. Do you think the distinction gets lost too often in political debates?
Been charged with doing anything like organizing it.
Thank you very much.
Well, then don't make it sound like it's a fact, because it's not a fact. If you know what it is, then you know you shouldn't represent it as a matter of fact, right?
Okay, Chris, I don't need you to lecture me about belittling the American people, talking to me about how I don't know what an indictment is. I've been working in this industry for 20 years, and you sitting here and acting like respectful.
Well, listen, I don't mean it that way, Katie. I want to try to get to what's behind some of these arguments. Like, I think going after the Southern Poverty Law Center.
I don't think you're doing the best way.
I think that's dangerous. I think J.D. Vance saying it's okay to commit a burglary
false white supremacy
is dangerous.
And falsely accusing conservatives of white supremacy is dangerous. I think saying that people are hateful, like Charlie Kirk, putting him on a hate watch map is dangerous, and he lost his life as a result of this fomenting of this fake
he was killed for what he believed.
We've seen terrorizing the right forever from places like the Southern Poverty. Been indicted by a grand jury, by the Department of Justice, that lists a set of facts they will use in federal court.
This exchange is interesting because it reveals two very different philosophies. One side is arguing that accusations deserve serious attention, while the other insists that nothing should be treated as fact until it's proven in court. That tension between skepticism and accountability shows up in almost every major political controversy.
In front of a judge and in front of juries to make their case. That is real.
They're not
and
facts.
If you want to deny it, you can, but it is a fact.
No.
What
That's
are they
not
then?
fact.
They're just
An
made
allegation.
up? They're made up? What are they then?
An allegation is an uncorroborated suggestion that must be proven at trial by material and competent evidence that is found compelling to a judge or a jury. Otherwise, it's just a charging document. But an indictment doesn't have facts. An indictment is putting something forward that they'll believe they'll prove as a matter of fact. Maybe, we'll see. And if they show that the Southern Poverty Law Center set up the Charlottesville thing, they should all go to prison. If they can show beyond a reasonable doubt that people at the Southern Poverty Law Center created hate groups, they should all go to prison, Katie. I'm here for it. And if you get that story, I will have you lead the whole show. I'll be your correspondent on it.
Well, I have my own
you
show
can have my whole hour.
So I appreciate that.
I know, but I'm saying I give you both hours.
10 o'clock. I appreciate it.
By this point, neither side is really trying to persuade the other. They're trying to persuade you. That's what makes televised debates so fascinating. Beyond the actual arguments, body language, interruptions, and confidence all shape how audiences decide who won. So here's the question. Are you judging the facts, the delivery, or a little of both?
Thank you.
Because I want that. I want us to get to a place where we just call right and wrong everywhere. If the Southern Poverty Law Center did that, wrong.
Indictment and take the facts seriously.
I believe that it's a real indictment. An indictment is not a set of facts. And a lot of times they can't prove the point about Trump. Just because he was indicted, do you believe he was guilty of everything he was accused of in the indictments?
There were some of the facts that were proven to be true and some of them that were not. And a lot of them were developed in a false nature by political actors who we saw for years and years and years tried to keep the president out of politics while they claimed they were for a democracy and preserving this right that we have, while they destroyed his reputation with false smears. When it comes to the Southern Poverty Law Center, over 10 decades, we know what happened. There are many examples of people talking in detail about things that were happening to them and the terrorizing the SPLC did to them and put them on maps, like the Focus on the Family was terrorized. There were a number of people who testified as a result of this out of court for years about what the SPLC was doing. So that is real. If you want to go back into what Trump was indicted for, we have litigated that over and over again. That was a political witch hunt.
I'm not relitigating it. I'm not relitigating it. Here's what I'm saying. Trump was indicted. Everything in the indictment was not true. I agree with you. The Southern Poverty Law Center has been indicted.
I think you're making an absurd comparison.
And this is where the debate comes full circle. Regardless of which political viewpoint you hold, one lesson stands out. Legal claims, media narratives, and public opinion don't always move at the same speed. Courtrooms operate on evidence. Television operates on persuasion. Which one do you think had the stronger case in this exchange? Let everyone know in the comments.
Against President Trump. They are not comparable in any ways. Completely different scenarios, completely different political arenas, completely different contexts in terms of years of what had happened before the SPLC indictment. And I look forward to talking more about it.
I think we have to.
And this is where the debate comes full circle. Regardless of which political viewpoint you hold, one lesson stands out. Legal claims, media narratives, and public opinion don't always move at the same speed. Courtrooms operate on evidence. Television operates on persuasion. Which one do you think had the stronger case in this exchange? Let everyone know in the comments.